I'm going to show you how to put LED lights in your Viper. Now over here, I've got some of the bulbs I've been using. These are Oxito 194s. I had to buy red and amber, 4 red and 2 amber. 9005 LED for the high beams. This is a Luxtor Holy Night, and these are very inexpensive, but they're very good bulbs. Now these are 3157 amber. I bought 2 amber and 2 red. They're Scopark made by Sealight, and all of these I'll have links to in the description. Now I did have some problems with hyper flashing and some other things on the turn signals. I'll show you how I dealt with those problems. So let's get started on it. First thing you're going to want to do is jack this car up on the side that you're working on. It gives you a whole lot more access to the front of the car. Just make sure the wheel comes off the ground, like that. Now you're going to want to remove this little panel. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. You'll need a 7 and a 10 millimeter, and then this panel will pop right out. There are 3 10 millimeter nuts, and just go ahead and remove those to get to the high beam and low beam bolts. This has a gasket around it, so you may need to just very, very lightly pry the casing to get it to pop loose, because mine hasn't been removed for a very long time, clearly. There we go. Comes right off. It's almost. There's a clip here holding the wires. Just kind of unclip that and then move the thing out of the way. This silver thing is your D1S low beam, and that's the one we're looking at right there. That is the 9005 high beam. Now all you should have to do is reach your hand in, grab it, and turn it a little bit right out. Sorry, it's hard to film, but all I did was turn it about a quarter turn and pull it right out. There's a little clip here. We're going to lightly pry up on it. And then the bulb will come right off of there. Now the new bulb that I've got has a little pigtail, so we're going to plug it in first, okay? And then we're just going to push this in like we did earlier and rotate. Here's how we're going to install it. Sorry, it's really hard to get light in here. We're just going to push it into these tabs and then rotate, and it'll lock in, just like that. Here comes the interesting part, getting this cover back on. So what you're going to have to kind of work with here is this little driver module for the LED. Now, what I found best is if you can kind of tuck it in on top of the headlight module, which is right here, it kind of will slide above it. And as you're doing that, you kind of have to get it onto the thing with getting the connector in there. It's kind of a tight fit, but you can see it isn't too bad because I got it the first try there. Now, doing these side marker lights pretty easy. You just have to take some pliers and kind of get on it. It's pretty tight for some reason on mine. And there's your bulb. Pretty simple. These LEDs are not directional, so that's good. For the front turn signal, unscrew it. There's your bulb. Take it out and put the new LED one in. Then just rotate it back into place. It's pretty easy. Now, if you just put those LED bulbs in here, this is what's going to happen. If you listen closely, my turn signal's on, but the high filament is stuck on the turn signal. Let me show you why that is and how you can fix that. So I turned off the tail lights, and you'll notice this is flashing just fine. Well, if you look closely, that marker light bulb that I put in is actually flashing with the turn signal. From the factory, these side markers actually shunt. So basically, if the tail lights are on, this light is on here, the side marker. When this light turns on high filament, this light turns off. The problem is LEDs do not appreciate that. They actually get powered through the tail light function on the high filament side. So the way to correct that is to stop these turn signals from shunting, which isn't very difficult. These will just simply be on, and the turn signal will function as a normal turn signal. It isn't really a big deal in terms of lighting, and it's not actually legally required. It just looks cool. And this is just the simplest way to fix this. There are other ways, but let's do the easy way. Before we get started, let me prove to you that it's the turn signal shunting. Here's the bulb. It starts working just fine. I know it's hyper flashing, but notice it starts to flash. Put the bulb in, and it's actually powering this high filament through this bulb. It's very weird. So let's fix that. The way that this works is actually very simple. Take your socket, unplug it like I did, and turn on your taillights. Then get either a multimeter or a test light like I have and ground it on the other end. Then you're going to find out which wire is powered. See? That is the white wire. So what this means is the green wire is actually our ground. The way this is working currently, it's supposed to ground this bulb through the high filament on the turn signal. But since it's an LED, it ends up just powering the bulb. We're going to take this friction tape back, and we're going to cut the green wire, and we're just going to run it to a constant ground. That will stop the turn signal from shunting. And you want to find a comfortable spot on the green wire where you can cut it. Then you'll just want to strip it back. Now I'm going to take some heat shrink tubing, slide it over the wire, and then I'll get the other wire. Let's do a regular Western Union splice here. Now you can run your ground anywhere you want to, but if you look right here, that is a really good spot to run a ground, and I'm just going to take the bolt out and put an eyelet terminal behind it. I plugged the socket back in. I'm going to push on it and turn. These pliers takes a lot of force. Now we're installed. Now let's give it a test and see if it does that weird thing again. So now I'm going to turn on the tail lights and turn on the left turn signal, and we're going to see if that high filament is stuck on when the tail lights are on. So we're still hyper flashing, which we're going to fix in a minute, but if you notice, the turn signal is on constantly now. That's what we needed to get this thing to work right. So let's fix the hyper flashing next. Do all these bulbs in the back. You're going to remove two 10mm bolts on this cover and move it out of the way. Then you've got these 7/16 plastic nuts. You got one in this crack here, it's hard to see, and then one under here. So you got three. I'll go ahead and take those out, and then we will remove this taillight assembly. Now this is where you'll put in your LED 194s. Two of those, red. Brake light bulbs. I don't have those here yet, so I'll be doing those another day. Got your reverse light. Got two of those. Again, there's a link in the description to the lights I'm using. The one we're going for today is the turn signal. So just turn it and pull it out. Now again, if you have the bulb, just push the bulb into place. Although I will say, if you're using red bulbs like I am, you will have to cut these little tabs off of the red bulbs I had in the link in the description. If you're using the amber 3757s, you won't have to do that. Then you just plug them in. What you're going to want to do on the turn signal is just, I'm going to ring strip this, which is pretty easy to do. There we go. Now these are the resistors I'm going to be using. You can see I got two in a box. And what I found out is that I unfortunately need both of these for each side. If you put less than this, it will still hyper flash. So what you want to do is either get two of these, or I'd recommend getting one 50-watt, but these were locally available at the store, so I just went in and bought those instead of waiting for them to be shipped here. So what I'm going to do, just take the wire, I'm just going to loop it around where I stripped it back. Okay. Do this with both of them. So I just zip tied the resistors together. I'm going to put a heat shrink over each side. Now luckily polarity is not a concern, so we're just going to tie these pairs together and then solder it. Everything's installed. Let's go ahead and test the lights and see how bright they are. Here's just the tail lights on the rear of the car. Just the parking lights on the front. The turn signals on the front of the car. You can see they cast shadows now. You could barely tell they were on before. Same situation in the back of the car. Here's the low beams. Now the high beams. Here's what the high beams look like in the front. And I assure you, all of the glare that you're seeing is from the high beams, not the low beams. And would you look at that? No more hyperflash. Those resistors really did the trick. Like I said, if you're going to buy them, though, I'd recommend you just get one 50 watt instead of putting two 25s. It's just easier. I know it's not totally dark out here, but here's the difference in the low and high beam. The high beam's extremely bright. It doesn't come across well on camera, but that's just, it's far brighter than the old halogen high beams were. Like, there's no comparison. And here's the car running during the daytime with the new LEDs. It had fog lights in it before. So the only thing that aren't LED now are these D1S low beams. I may do those eventually, but for now I'm really happy with them. Now, as you can see, these LEDs are twice as bright as the old incandescents. These on low filament are as bright as the incandescents were on high filament. And that's the same on the back of the car. These are far, far brighter, and I think they look a whole lot nicer. I like how they turn on and off immediately. And something I wanted to make clear that I didn't say earlier in the video, what I showed you how to do on this side, you will also have to do on this side. Fixing the turn signal shunting and putting resistors. It has to be done for each side of the vehicle. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'll be doing one on the brake lights for this car very soon. Thanks.